because we don't know where they're coming from and anything like that. You can't trust them. You can't trust the blogs. Now, Lisa's attacked the blogs many times before, you know, or definitely before. Paul's going to get into that. Well, Paul, let's just go back and forth because there's just so much here. What about that? What about this thing with her on other blogs? The people on the left, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on with her.
Yeah, there was something involving, I guess, former Congresswoman Ellen Tauscher, and essentially apparently bloggers from the left were saying that Lisa Vorderbrueggen apparently wrote a column which these bloggers felt was basically kind of covering up Ellen Tauscher's record, specifically around voting for the Iraqi war, allowing Bush to start the Iraqi war. And what they felt was that Lisa was just, again, kind of smoothing over Ellen Tauscher's record. And honestly, and we'll put a link up to this, in the the blogger's commentary on the article basically says that either Lisa lied or she got the facts wrong about, who did and didn't vote as Tauscher voted. And one of the things that the bloggers did not like was that in Lisa's column, she wrote, quote, "Cocky bloggers overstated their powers as kingmaker." So in other words, what you're having here, you're having the old dinosaur media getting a little upset that the internet crew might be taking some of their power away.
Right, absolutely. And look, and so there you go right there. So here's the thing about this story, right? This is a front page story on the East Bay section. Boom! It's just so huge. But
and it's on Sunday.
And it's on Sunday.
Second section.
Maximum exposure. It's not little. This is huge. It's a big story. But what's the story? Is the story that you shouldn't have anonymous sources? Because we'll get to that. Is the story, let's take out Brad Gehring, who's leading in the Republican primary? Or is the story John Villarreal? I'm sort of confused, actually, when I write this. And we're going to try to link to it. And you know what? I would love to link to this story. Only, it's not up on their website yet. This just shows you where these guys are at. They're dinosaur, bro. They're so in the dark ages. It's not even funny. Because, see, we'll just read a couple snippets here. Because the thing is this story fails on every level. On every level. It's rife with hypocrisy. It's rife with all kinds of problems. And we're going to deal with it. So, it starts off, a campaign consultant to Republican 11th District candidate Brad Gehring. Dude, he's not a campaign consultant, he's the campaign manager. So it's nice when you have a lead story that immediately starts out with wrong facts, as far as we know it, right? I mean, whoo, awesome. Great job, Lisa. Blah, 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 blah. Attacked these other candidates. You can read the rest. And then she quotes from, David, who writes on our site, conservativenewmedia.com, about, hey, I admit that this was me, this, that, whatever. And in that, she's like, many thanks to those who, this is actually David's, to those who point out this, her insert, conflict. I don't know that I would actually put that word down there. We'll talk about who's got the conflicts. But we'll leave it stand, that's fine. Some could say that. So she talks about how he's paid for a consultant. He's the campaign manager, okay? But the use of anonymity online is far more common in campaigns than folks realize. Remember the last flap? Everything's a flap to Lisa. We'll get to that. Apparently it's a flap about me moderating debates. We'll get to that. It wouldn't be anything involving the fact that she loves to push herself as a very well-respected debate moderator. That wouldn't have anything to do with it. Yeah. And then, about red country. So then she points out, like, all these controversies on the right. Interesting. And she mentions these other blogs on the right that fire these people for not disclosing who they were and they were paid, and then there's other legitimate conservative blog that if there's ever finds out that somebody posted without their real name, well, they're gone. Apparently you can be fired as a blogger or as a poster. If I read that right, maybe I read it wrong. I mean, this is like, let me see here. Without a diligent blog administrator, that means me, that we're not doing a good job. We're not diligent. We're not diligent.
That's us, clearly.
Of course that's a slap at us. I mean, give me a break, dude. And about all these people that have been paid to do this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And let me see that. Yeah. If this other person, this other conservative of one of California's best read conservative blogs, we'll deal with who's like got the audience. If he finds out you use someone else's name, he'll delete your comments and strip you of posting privilege. Oh gosh. Whoo. This other person, said they fired this Aaron Park, who was posting as this and that. I don't know if he was paid by them to write or not. I don't know how you fire a poster or an author, but whatever. So, you know what I mean? Like, this class, all this and that, there's millions of... So it just goes on about like, oh, you've got to disclose everything. If you don't disclose it, then there's no credibility. And she mentions these other blogs. Now, I'm not familiar, frankly, with... I only became familiar with the red thing, whatever, the one of them in the last week. Other than that, I never knew about it. And that's in Orange County, so it's nowhere around here, and we'll deal with that in a second about why that is. The other one, I've never heard of it before. I don't think that's from around here either. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'd have to actually know it to know that. But, it's interesting when she talks about these things, right? There is, they're all on the right that there's a problem, that there's flaps, right? And they're not from around here. Huh. That's really, really funny. That's really interesting because you know what? We did some research and we actually sent her information that Daily Kos, which is in Huffington Post, ostensibly the biggest blogs, definitely Daily Kos, political blogs from in the nation, right? Which are right here in San Francisco. Okay? At least Kos is. Dude's been getting paid as a consultant forever. Okay? By Howard Dean and other people, this and that, whatever. They have paid bloggers all the time. Slates were not, this is going back to 2003. This is huge and rife on the left, but no mention of that. No mention of that.
The story is this. Melita Smartkos, whatever his name is, Kos, and a man named Jerome Armstrong.
We're going to link to it right here.
On mydd.com.
Links in the description.
Those two were both paid consulting fees by the Howard Dean campaign, and one of Dean's campaign teams said to a reporter, yeah, we basically paid them money so that they write favorable stories about us. Where's the outrage about that?
No outrage. No outrage. No, we don't need to talk about that. This only happens on the right. This only happens at fledgling blog. For fledgling, you're right that we just started in about 6 months ago. You're wrong that we're small time, which is what you're trying to put over. We have, over 3.5 million views in that time. I don't think you've had 3.5 million views in your entire career at the Contra Costa Times for all your freaking articles. Okay, that's 6 months. That's what that we can prove. That doesn't count Facebook, reposts, all kinds of other people doing all kinds, or posts on, or views on my channel that other people like that. Dude, we have juice and we have power. And that's what this comes down to. And we're going to deal with that. And if you want to talk about conflicts, we're going to deal with that. I mean, dude, wow. I mean, seriously, Lisa, if you're watching, I just turn off now. You're going to get owned so bad, it's not even going to be funny. You're going to get just pwned. Anyone, Lisa's friends or family or whatever, seriously, you're just... and let's just say this isn't personal. I've never met the woman. I have nothing against her. She's grandma, whatever. It's freaking great. Nothing about it. Politics aren't personal to me. You came to me...
Personal.
Go ahead.
This wasn't personal. I just want to say this real quick. I don't want to interrupt.
No.
This isn't personal for Lisa Vorderbrueggen. It's not personal about Robert Beadles. We don't have a beef with anybody. Now, the way that Lisa tries to portray us in all her article is like some kind of mercenaries or something like that. Again, just for the record, Rob Beadles didn't think we were important enough.
You got
If
it.
he thought, if he wanted to come and make his case, he could have, just like anybody else could have. He declined that privilege. Someone else took it. If you think that's, mercenary or whatever, no. It's an open forum. Someone took advantage of it, and somebody did not. Now, again, this isn't personal about Lisa or Robert Beadles. It's personal because they called us out. That's the only reason that we're talking about them.
Right. I wouldn't care a whit's end. I don't care about little itty-bitty silly stuff like this. Okay? This is silly stuff.